if there are people change, by the time I'm arriving for that meeting, the people probably have changed. So let's create an unequal situation. How badly do you want my meeting?
What are some of the more common or classic mistakes that hotel salespeople make when calling on you or dealing with you after the sales is made? In other words, what turns you off? Howard?
I was trying to figure out who else is on the panel.
There's no Howard up here. Oh, boy. Perhaps taking me for granted, taking my business for granted, kind of dropping me like a hot potato once they've sold me the particular hotel. They do want future business. I don't mean that a salesperson has to, let's say if I go into a particular hotel for an annual meeting or something like that, I know that the salesperson is going to be on the job selling future business. But I don't want to be completely forgotten about when I come into that hotel. I do want to have, I want to know that he is at least looking after me, if not there every day or what have you, that he knows that his shop is doing the job. And if I do go into a major hotel with a major meeting and I find that it's the only thing I find from that sales manager is a little card which has been perfunctorily taken care of by his secretary in my room and says, "Glad you're here, Dee," and that's the last I hear from him, I'm a little unhappy about that.
You mentioned a point when we were talking, and I'd like to remind you of it, that was talking about following up as staff changes, and just maybe a note to say you're still on the books and everything's in order, instead of wondering when it's 9 years down the road, or every time you change people, do they take the catering book with them?
Yes, that's sort of, I think I was telling them yesterday about one of my famous letters that came in to me. Dear Dee, I've just come on board as Director of Sales. This happened where the hotel had a Director of Sales for quite a few years. He was well known in the industry and moved to another property. So this young man wrote to me and said he wanted to introduce himself. And he said, we know AGA has a lot of meetings, and I wanted to tell you all of the improvements that have gone on in our hotel, and I hope that we can look forward to booking a few of your meetings. And I wrote back, "Dear so-and-so, congratulations on your new position. However, I'm a little bit concerned that you would ask for future bookings since the following 5 meetings are currently booked in your hotel. Are they still there?" I have not received an answer from that man. I think you would say he's turned off me. Now this is a serious, it goes to, if with all your changes, I can't emphasize enough what you do to us. It does something to you too. But if you don't look over your files on future bookings, and if you don't get in touch with your people, there's a certain lack of response, a certain lack of feeling of confidence in you. You know, meeting plan has changed too. But for Pete's sake, look in your files. It can stop a lot of overbooking and double booking.
One of the important things to me is honesty, and I'd like to know from you all, when I book a meeting and I say 200 rooms, how many rooms have you written down on that book? How many rooms are you really giving me? Are you giving me the credit to say to you that I have been honest to you? I ran into a situation recently that I thought was fantastic. My board meeting is normally 200 rooms, and I took those 200 rooms to Mr. Bushman's former hotel, and I walked 15 people one night. That means 185 rooms. So the computer report lists me for 185 rooms for that night, for that meeting. So I'm going into another one of that chain's hotels, and I have 200 rooms booked, and the director of sales say, "Aha, but you only picked up 185 rooms." And I said, "You're right, but I walked 15. And where in that computer does that show?" And it doesn't.
That's a very good point. Well,
That's a good point.
This has all been very educational. We appreciate your time, your candid remarks. I hope that we'll all be doing business with all of you in the future as we have in the past. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your business. And let's adjourn for lunch.